On May 28, 2014, I watched Lance Stephenson blow into LeBron's ear, trying to provoke him. But what does LeBron do? He just chuckles. For 2 decades, I've watched Skip Bayless bash LeBron relentlessly and turn it into a career. But what does LeBron do? Nothing. Not even a mention of his name. LeBron doesn't act on impulse. He never makes rash decisions. Every move is calculated. That's how he became not just the face of a generation, but the defining figure of the NBA's modern era. So, when he uncharacteristically confronts Stephen A. Smith on national TV in front of the world for what he called putting his son's name in his mouth, something feels off.
I said he's wrong.
The father thing is so friggin' flimsy to me.
He knows everything he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows everything he's doing.
We've never seen LeBron do that. Like, he's always been just even keel and level-headed in every aspect. And sometimes...
At first, I didn't think too much of it. But as the weeks passed and more interviews surfaced, a larger picture began to form. And I began to wonder, was this truly a father who snapped in the heat of the moment to defend his son? Or was it something else entirely? A move so calculated, we never even saw the strings because we were too busy watching the show.
But this was a flat-out ambush, a drive-by, a premeditated and calculated move by LeBron James to show up Stephen A. in front of the NBA.
It's March 6th, 2025. I'm at home, mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, and suddenly, there it is. LeBron James, yes, the LeBron James, right up in Stephen A. Smith's face, screaming. Holy smokes, I think. This is LeBron James, the face of the NBA, standing over Stephen A. Smith, the face of sports media, and he's letting it rip. Right there on camera for the whole world to see. No desk, no studio, no safety net. You can practically see the veins in LeBron's neck, the tension in his jaw. He's got that iconic Game 6 look in his eyes. This isn't the same LeBron who shrugged off Lance Stephenson or ignored Skip's trolling. This time, he's had enough, and we're seeing a side of him no one expected. Stephen A. doesn't say a word. A man who normally can't go 5 seconds without talking, suddenly silent. He just stands there, eating every syllable, head bobbing in agreement, like he never imagined LeBron had this in him.
Because the demeanor in person was like, that was demeanor in person.
This isn't a debate. It's a verbal beatdown. With no audio, no caption, and no context, I'm desperate for answers. So I do what everyone does. I check the comments. And the first thing I notice, Stephen A. is getting roasted. Stephen A. got checked. It was a G.I. Jane joke by Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. got posterized. I'm practically choking on my own laughter. These comments are endless, and each one hits harder than the last. But then, I see it. My stomach flips. There it is. Bronny's name. And I immediately connect the dots. And if you know anything about the NBA, trash-talking a man's kid, that's crossing the line. LeBron is defending his son, and apparently, he's not about to hold back. Now, as an NBA YouTuber, I watch First Take every day. And to be honest, I don't remember Stephen A. being that critical of Bronny. But hey, the guy says a lot of crazy stuff, and he's on way more platforms than just ESPN. Between his personal YouTube channel, podcasts, and countless guest spots, it's easy to miss a heated comment or two. Still, my gut reaction? Great job, LeBron, for checking him and standing up for your son. You acted emotionally, but that's what fathers should do. Stick up for their kids. The very next morning, Stephen A. addresses the incident and reveals exactly what LeBron said and why he came at it.
Stop effing with my son. That's my effing son. Stop effing with my son. That wasn't a basketball player talking to me last night. That was a dad. He rolled up on me as a father.
Honestly, after watching the full videos, Stephen A seems different. The man who usually roars is practically whispering. He glances down often, like he's trying to gather himself, and the trademark Stephen A swagger is nowhere to be found. He looks rattled, like he's still replaying LeBron's words over and over in his head. At this point, I still don't know exactly what Stephen A said about Bronny, but something breaks. Pandora's box is open. Social media erupts with hot takes, theories, and speculation, each one more outlandish than the last. People wonder, did Stephen A cross a line he can't come back from? And the conversation explodes.
LeBron James.
Stephen A.
Yeah.
Former players, sports commentators, YouTube's blowing up. Even a few ghosts come out of retirement just to weigh in. Within hours, every major sports outlet is covering the clip nonstop. It's like the entire sports universe went on pause, fixated on one showdown. This drama hijacks the sports world so completely, people forget the NBA is still happening. Eventually, after a few weeks, the dust settles, and it feels like that's the end of it. Story finished, we move on, back to basketball. And LeBron? Knowing how calm and focused he usually is, I figured he's already said what he needed to say. The message was delivered loud and clear. With the playoffs around the corner, you'd expect him to rest and avoid any drawn-out drama, especially with Stephen A., who practically lives off conflicts. But then, he does something no one saw coming and shocks the entire sports world.
It's a kid from Akron, ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James.
Yeah,
LeBron James!
I appreciate it, man.
LeBron stuns everyone with a 1-hour special on Pat McAfee's show, Stephen A's biggest rival. If you thought this drama was over, think again. Now we're past the smoke. Welcome to the fire. So, when the video of LeBron on the Pat McAfee show drops, I do what everyone else did. I click. And man, shots were fired.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like he completely missed the whole point. Freezer and sit in his chair and his tighty whities on the couch.
Taylor Swift tour? He completely missed the whole point? Tighty whities? LeBron is really letting it go. Wow, I thought. Stephen A. Smith, the most powerful figure in sports media, is being publicly humiliated. His credibility torn apart in real time. I heard of the Pat McAfee show before, but I never really watched it or knew much about it. So at the time, I didn't understand the relationship between Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith. But after this video dropped, I started researching, and then it all started to make sense. His show is apparently the #1 competitor to Stephen A's show. And not only that, but there are reports and rumors that Stephen A. and Pat McAfee don't really get along, that they're sworn enemies pretty much. The two of them obviously deny all that in public, but hey, rumors don't start from nowhere.
Now, is he as polished politically as me? Nope. Because he has no desire to be, #1. And #2, if we're being honest, he's white and I'm black.
Of all the shows he could have picked, LeBron goes on this one, Stephen A's biggest rival. So, after learning the full backstory between Stephen A. and Pat McAfee, and hearing the extra shots LeBron throws, even after Stephen A. starts to admit he was wrong, that's when I step back and start thinking, hey, was this really just about Bronny? Or was there something more? But then, wait, it gets even deeper. For the past couple of years, Draymond Green and Stephen A. Smith seemed tight. They co-hosted shows, cracked jokes, shared the spotlight. It even looked like Stephen A. was mentoring him, setting Draymond up for a smooth transition into media after his NBA career. But then suddenly, it looks like Draymond Green hates Stephen A.'s guts and wants nothing to do with him.
To call something that man did bullshit and weak, like those are words like where we grew up.
Yeah.
Like you get hands put on you.
Given how close he and Stephen A. used to be, this feels like it's coming out of nowhere. A total 180. Holy smokes. I realize, now LeBron has Stephen A.'s own friends and allies turning on him? That's when I pause. What exactly did Stephen A. say about Bronny? I mean, apparently, I didn't just miss a line. I must have missed a bomb. Because sure, LeBron snapping to protect his son Bronny, that makes sense. It's emotional. But for him to step away from the game, then go on Stephen A.'s sworn enemy show to throw shade, then get Stephen A.'s friend and ally to flip on him? Stephen A. must have said something crazy, something that really crossed the line. Now I'm dying to know exactly what he said. So I dig, then I dig some more, and I keep digging. Finally, I find it.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad.
I am pleading with LeBron James, stop this. We all know Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. All right, I thought. Everything he said was factual. I don't think anyone would argue that in the moment. Honestly, it didn't sound that bad to me. But yeah, I can see how it might have rubbed LeBron the wrong way. Fair enough. He had the green light to check Stephen A. courtside. But then I asked myself, why did LeBron continue pressing forward with this? And just as I start to process it all, a few things start happening. First, another clip surfaces. LeBron talking with Richard Jefferson, and people begin to realize this whole situation might not be about Bronny at all. Stephen A. sees that Pat McAfee video. He sees the pieces being moved. Third, he starts analyzing everything. LeBron looking directly at the camera after screaming. Every word that was said by him, by LeBron, by others. And then it happens. Stephen A. snaps.
He says he's the guy that will say something to your face and then go behind your back. I don't trust this guy. He said this straight up about what do you call it, LeBron.
He said, quote, he'll smile in your face and stab you in the back. That's why I don't like him.
Because he can't accept the fact that I won't kiss the ring and acknowledge him as the greatest ever. Why? Because he is not.
Now, I've seen Stephen A. snap before, like when someone once said Max Kellerman was blacker than him. But this time, it's a whole different level. It was straight up Denzel Washington man on fire type of energy. Hell, the man said everything but the Diddy part. But here's where it gets real. In The War of Art by Sun Tzu, all warfare is based on deception. Disguise your true intentions, confuse your opponent, and strike when they least expect it. And this is exactly what Stephen A. starts to believe. That this wasn't about Bronny, that it was some premeditated strike, part of something bigger.
Using his son as an excuse to say what he said to me. First of all, let's understand something to the viewing public in America and beyond. This was planned. Rich Paul was on Pat McAfee's show about 10 days earlier, or whatever.
Now, let's take a look at the big picture. Because when you zoom out, this might not just be a feud. It might be a full-on media war. LeBron is still running and dunking like a madman. But let's be real. He's 40 now. No matter how Superman he looks, Father Time is undefeated. As much as we'd love to see him hoop till 50, the truth is, we're probably 2, maybe 3 years away from the end. And if there's one thing we know about LeBron, it's that strive for greatness has never just been a slogan. This man doesn't just want to retire. He wants to evolve. He wants Act 2 to be bigger than Act 1. So what does he do? He steps into the arena beyond basketball and challenges Stephen A. Smith, the undisputed king of sports media. On the surface, it looks emotional, impulsive even, but look closer, and it appears to be something else entirely. He's beating Stephen A. at his own game. He's beginning to claim territory in the media world. And at the same time, he shields his son. Because now, Bronny's name isn't just a name. It's a line you don't cross.
Well, I know one thing. I'm never talking about Bronny disrespectfully again.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a power play. Does he care about Bronny? Absolutely. But was this only about Bronny? That's a question you'll have to answer for yourself, because that's how this moment was spun, and it worked. 10 seconds was all it took, and just like that, the whole world, including us, couldn't stop talking about it. Whether you love him or hate him, LeBron's made one thing clear. He's not just chasing rings anymore. He's showing us what comes after. And that's the power of a man who's always 2 steps ahead. You've been watching me for 20 years, and you're still going to be watching.